Okay, so last night was the Masked Singer season finale. Now, I am definitely, obviously, against turning viewers away, but if you have not seen the finale or want to watch the show and you're a few episodes behind, leave this video right now, because I'm going to be dropping massive spoilers, and I don't want it to be ruined for you. It was an amazing season, probably better than the past two seasons, and I don't want that ruined for you. So just exit out of this. But if you have seen the entire season like I have, then stay tuned. Keep watching, and I'll go through kind of a review of the entire season as fast as I can do that. Alright, so, episode 1 actually aired right after the Super Bowl, so if you're watching the Super Bowl, you probably watched the first episode of this. It was the Group A kickoffs, so it was, I think that it had Turtle, Kangaroo, White Tiger, Llama, Robot, and Miss Monster was in that group, and it was a really good episode. It really, Turtle, wow, one of the best performances I've ever seen. I watched that and I was like, okay, this guy is going to make it really far. And I just want to point out how I kind of structure this as I talk about, just kind of who went home, who was under the mask, who I thought was under the mask, and who I thought should have went home. So this week it was Robot who went home, and at this point in the show, I didn't really have an idea of who would be under these masks, so I just I didn't know, and it was Lil Wayne was the robot. I think the robot went out too early, because I really think that the White Tiger should have went out. The White Tiger sucks. He didn't even sing. He was basically just talking. I think it was his stage presence, and he really, struck chords with the audience, and the audience went nuts over him, and that's what kind of kept him. He's kind of a dancer. So, yeah, that's who I thought should have gone night 1. Now, week 2, it was Llama who went out, I really didn't like that, because Llama was my favorite. I loved the way Llama looked. I was like, come on, Llama, you can win. And from his first, I think he did good. I think he would, I was expecting him to make it, maybe to, the middle of the season. So there's a really big shock that he went out so quickly. And obviously, I think that White Tiger should have gone out, because I was like, oh, okay, well, if the White Tiger went out first, the robot would have went out after him. So it made sense that the robot went out first, even though the White Tiger probably should have. But I was thinking, okay, that was just a fluke. White Tiger has to go out this week. It is literally impossible. And he stayed again, and it was Llama who got unmasked, and the Llama was Drew Carey, who was the host of The Price is Right. I once again, I didn't really know who I thought it would have been. I think my best guess would have been Weird Al Yankovic, just because that's who they suggested, and with the accordion. So that was week 2. Week 3 was the final week for Group A. There were 4 masks left in Group A, and it was you could tell who you thought would make it to the Super 9, and finally, I'm like, okay, now there's no way that White Tiger could go out. Turtle and Kangaroo were, the 2 frontrunners of that group. And then Miss Monster was yeah, okay. But it was actually Miss Monster that went home, week 3, which meant that I still can't believe it, but White Tiger actually made it to the Super 9. Miss Monster was Chaka Khan. I was really surprised, because those soulful, older, performers normally make it pretty far. I mean, season 1, Gladys Knight as the Bee made it to took 3rd place, and last year, Patti LaBelle as Flower, made it really far. I feel like I'm kicking myself, I could have figured out that it's Chaka Khan, but, I mean, I just didn't, and there you have it. That's, the Group A. We move on to Group B, which had Frog, Taco, Mouse, Banana, Kitty, and, Elephant. That's right, Elephant. Man, I can't remember Six Masks for the life of me. Anyways, week one was really good. There were a lot of really strong singers. In fact, most of them I thought were really good. You had Mouse and Taco, who you could tell were older people, really soulful voices, and then you had Banana, who was actually a really wild card, really good. And then you had Kitty, who I think she was like the front runner of this group. And then you had Frog, who actually didn't like Frog at first, and I thought Frog would go out first in this group because he rapped. And I just thought, like, he kind of reminded me of White Tiger and how I thought White Tiger would go out. Apparently I'm 0 for 2 on this, and it ended up being Elephant that went out first. Now, it's obvious Elephant was the worst singer of that. I really thought it would be Beto O'Rourke. That's someone that the judges guessed. Beto O'Rourke, I think, is like the former governor of Texas or something, but actually turned out to be Tony Hawk, which I can't believe I didn't figure that out. Week 2 of the Group B round, I had no idea who would go. I mean, Banana had a really, after his first performance, he really had nowhere to go but down. And once again, I was kind of still, a little bit, on the fence about Frog. So I really thought it would be either Banana or Frog that would go. But then Mouse ended up getting unmasked, which I did not see coming. Once again, there's another soulful person like Miss Monster that went home way too early in comparison to some of their counterparts from earlier seasons. And that ended up being Dion Warwick, which I had never heard of Dion Warwick before. Like with Patti LaBelle and Chaka Khan and Gladys Knight, I don't listen to them, but I had heard of them before. I had never heard of Dion Warwick before, so I had no idea. That's who I guessed, just because I heard the judges guess that, and that's what made the most sense. So technically, Mouse was the first person I guessed correctly, and not the only person. I've guessed a few of them correctly, too. Okay, so it's the final week of Group B. Oh my goodness. This time, everyone was good. Like, legitimately, at this point, I was like, Frog is good. Frog is good. I really loved Taco. I thought Taco could make it really far, and one of the reasons I loved Taco so much was because I knew his voice right away, and the clues. Is someone that I've watched on TV since I was a little kid. I absolutely love this person, a huge fan, and I guessed correctly. It was Tom Bergeron. When I was like really little, he hosted America's Funniest Home Videos. I also occasionally watch Dancing with the Stars, and he's on that. Really good guy. I've grown up with him. One of the, my nostalgic, fans. I'm a fan of his. He did really good. And just like that, Group C begins. And Group C, I loved it. We did fantasy drafts. So on my team, I had a lot of good, masks like Frog, Turtle, and Banana. And then I got Astronaut, who's also on my team, and that guy wowed me. I thought, I think Turtle might win, but Astronaut could, take it all the way home too. Rhino was also really good, and so was Night Angel. I realized Night Angel was maybe a slightly less good version of Kitty. Between the two, I thought Kitty had a little bit of an edge over Night Angel. Week 1 of Group C, it was kind of obvious. Bear went out, and here's the thing: I really thought that it was Tina Fey. There are a lot of things pointing to Tina Fey, and when she took her mask off, she first showed the back of her head, which made it look like Tina Fey. But then she turned around and it was Sarah Palin, which, what? If in a year ago, no, 5 years ago, if I woke up and thought, and someone told me, hey, in 5 years, you're gonna see Sarah Palin dressed up as a bear singing Baby Got Back on your television, I'd be like, dude, lay off the caffeine. In week 2, I'm gonna get to the chase. Swan went out. And I thought Swan would probably... I thought either Swan or T-Rex would go out first. I really didn't like T-Rex. For some reason, I thought it would be a male. And it was actually a female, which is fine. But it was I could tell it was a younger female, and she didn't really have the pipes. And And so I thought either her or Swan, because Swan didn't really impress me that much, and it ended up being Swan. I just thought that Bear had, gripped the audience enough to keep her safe for another week. I was obviously wrong. But it was Swan, and it was actually Bella Thorne, who is someone that, like most people that were on this show, I've heard of them before. Bella Thorne, I had heard of. I don't know what she does. To my understanding, she's been in, like, Disney Channel stuff. I am not a huge fan of that, though. And it's like I could have predicted it, because the exact next week, T-Rex went out, and you'll never believe who was behind the mask. Jojo Siwa. What? The thing is I had, I think, some understanding of who it might be, and then finally, I just heard it just like, maybe Jojo Siwa, and I'm like, I have no idea what Jojo Siwa does. I've heard of her before, obviously. I know she's a fellow YouTuber, and I just like, you know what, that's a good guess. She's in that same age range as I would have thought. So yeah, my final guess was like Jojo Siwa, because that's what makes sense, that the T-Rex would be Jojo Siwa. And it was, and I almost felt embarrassed that I guessed correctly. At this point, we have made it to the final 9. This is the halfway point of the season, and they're celebrating with a 2-hour special where all 9 remaining masks are competing. And don't tell me to name them. I could, but I don't want to make this video longer than it already is gonna be. And finally, White Tiger went out, and from like my first time hearing White Tiger, I knew exactly who it was. It was Rob Gronkowski, that's what I thought it was, and it was Rob Gronkowski. So I was just kind of like, sayonara, White Tiger, because I couldn't imagine, like, if White Tiger won, if White Tiger beat Turtle, I would be mad. Like, if Turtle went out before White Tiger, I'd be super mad. So at this point in the season, there are only 8 masks left, so they kind of structured it like season 2, and there were 16 masks, so like 4 versus, 4 in groups of 4. In one group, I don't remember everyone that was together, but it ended up being Kangaroo, who I knew that Kangaroo was a really strong player, and I had high hopes for her, but I think her charm and her popularity started to kind of ebb away at this point in the competition, and it finally was her. I heard from pretty much, like, the moment she was on there that people were speculating that it was Jordyn Woods, which is another person I have never heard of. To my understanding, she is somehow, like, involved with, like, the whole Kardashian family, which I, don't, put my nose into. I don't, bother with that kind of drama. And, yeah, I just didn't know who this person was. That's just how I was like, you know what? It was one of those times I was like, you know what? I have no idea who this person is. I don't know who Jordyn Woods is. I'm just going to guess that's who it is. Now to the other group of 4. Banana went home, which Banana's been struggling. At the Super 9, he was in the bottom 3 alongside White Tiger and Rhino was actually saved first, so Rhino could have gone out at the Super 9. I mean, Banana could have gone out at the Super 9. I guess Rhino could have, too. But Banana, I really liked Banana. He was really good, and it ended up being Bret Michaels of Poison. Now, throughout this entire thing, I had different ideas of who Banana was. I thought it was Tony Romo at first, and then I was like, no, and I was like, okay, I was really hung up on, like, the whole, it was a Dallas Cowboys player, because then I was like, oh, it could be, like, Emmitt Smith or Troy Aikman, and then he talked about he obtained a severe injury, and then I was like, oh, it could be, like, a racer, like a Dale Earnhardt Jr., I thought, but then he said it was a head injury, and my mom looked up, I guess because someone guessed Bret Michaels, and my mom was like, okay, Bret Michaels, head injury, and it rang true. Bret Michaels, he's the lead singer of Poison, really classy guy. He said this is really a great show on television right now, and he's just one of those people that really just enjoyed every moment of his time on the show. So now we're at the final 6, and at this point, if a mask has made it to the final 6, I kind of consider them as, like, good. Like, they are good. They are, yeah. And I really thought that it was Rhino's time to go. Don't get me wrong, Rhino was great, but, everyone else was so good, and, Frog has been on the rise. He's been doing, like, his best, and I think this was at this point when he did, he did Whatever It Takes by Imagine Dragons, which is by far his best performance. It was one of my favorite performances of the season. And I don't think he went down after that, or I don't even say that he plateaued, but he just kind of kept up that. But it was actually the astronaut that went out first, which I was so surprised. I knew he was kind of ebbing away too, kind of like Kangaroo. And it was actually, the astronaut was actually Hunter Hayes, which made sense. Hunter Hayes is really short. The astronaut was really short. His voice, like, if you look up Hunter Hayes' performing, their voices is identical. But Hunter Hayes was not my original guess. One of our friends who also watches the show was like, hey, I really think astronaut is Hunter Hayes. So I was just kind of like, because this was at the part where I still thought it was like Fred Savage or Jonathan Taylor Thomas. But yeah, it was Hunter Hayes, and he did really good. Right, so Final Five, is one of those situations that I was like, okay, Rhino, you need to go. You're good, but you need to go. Which would have meant that the ideal, for me at least, the ideal Final Four would be, it'd be Turtle, Kitty, Frog, and Night Angel. Because those four, they carried the show. Those four were they were good. They were excellent. Rhino was great too, but Rhino actually did not go out. It was Kitty, which I guess it kind of made sense. For a while I was under the impression that Kitty would make it even farther than Night Angel. But at some point I realized, everybody loves Night Angel, crazy amount. She's a real threat in this game. And it was Kitty, and I'm really kicking myself, because I had this huge hunch from the beginning that it was Mila Kunis, because I noticed that, not to get nerdy up in here, but the cat, her eyes are two different colors, like the kitty, and that's a condition called heterochromia. And I looked up stars with heterochromia, and one of them was Mila Kunis, and I thought that made sense. It actually turned out that the kitty was Jackie Evancho, who I'm not an opera fan, but I am an America's Got Talent fan, so obviously I've heard of Jackie Evancho. But, oh, yeah, that took me by surprise, because I don't think anyone guessed Jackie Evancho. It was one of, the wild cards. Ding dong, the rhino's dead, the rhino's dead. I'm just kidding. I make it sound like I wanted the rhino out, but, the rhino wasn't on my fantasy team. I really liked the rhino, but he just had to go, for the betterment of mine, because once he was out, that was the last person on my mom's fantasy team that was remaining, so mom was out of the cash prize, $20, which meant that it's now down to me and Dad, and I had the upper hand because I had 2 of the remaining 3. And the rhino ended up being Barry Zito, who is I think he was a pitcher or a former pitcher for the New York, see, I know baseball, but, the Giants, the San Francisco Giants, I don't know. I know the answer, I'm just having a brain fart. And I didn't really think it was Barry Zito. I didn't think it would be Barry Zito. I thought it'd be Jason Aldean, or I had a hunch that it was Adam Sandler. And if you've watched the show, you'll know what I mean, but you just know that that's just completely preposterous. We made it to finale night. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. I'm gonna just go through this. Third place was Frog, which made sense. I actually thought Frog could win, but, rapping can't always send you to the end. I had a lot of people that I thought Frog would be. At first I was like Jaleel White or Alfonso Ribeiro, and then I was like, it could be a basketball player like Kevin Durant. But Kevin Durant is almost 7 feet tall, so it couldn't have been him. So my final guess was Jaleel White, and I was way off. It was Lil Bow Wow, which is a rapper. But I have mad respect for him, though. And then, alright, I'm not going to say who the runner-up was, because then that'd give away the winner. The winner, I could not believe it. The winner, Night Angel won. Night Angel won Masked Singer. And I'm proud, so proud of her, because the past 2 seasons, the farthest a woman got on The Masked Singer was 3rd place, with Bee in Season 1 and Flamingo in Season 2. So I have so much respect for Night Angel. She did it. Turtle, I really think should have won too, but Night Angel deserved to win just as much as all 3 of them. Turtle, I didn't know who Turtle was the entire time. I kind of was like, it could be AJ McClain, just because that's who people said. It ended up being Jesse McCartney, who I had never heard of before. One of the only people that I absolutely just never heard of. The internet, a lot of people said, is Jesse McCartney. And I'm like, yeah, but that's the internet. I mean, they guessed wrong on other people. But yeah, it was Jesse McCartney. And then the winner, oh, my dumbest, like, this was a Ken Jeong, guess. I said it could have been, I said the Night Angel might be Lauren Ash from Superstore. Just because the physique looked like it could have been her, and her voice, and she had clues to, like, Cloud9. It was not Lauren Ash, but I really wanted to believe that it was Lauren Ash. And it was actually Candy Burris, who, she was on, I guess, Real Housewives of Atlanta, which I don't watch those shows. I'm not into the big drama stuff. But she was on, Celebrity Big Brother, which I also am not into Celebrity Big Brother. I'm a diehard fan of Big Brother, but not really Celebrity Big Brother. It just doesn't work. But yeah, so that was the finals. That was my whole review of Masked Singer. It was a good season, and I can't wait for season 4, and I've decided to do this thing called Months of Mask, where every month leading up to season 4, I will release at least one Masked Singer-related video a month. But I have a lot of stuff on my plate. There are a lot of videos I have on the back burner, just kind of waiting to release for a later time. And then I really need to complete that ranking my Lego games. I still have to do a part 2 of that, and that's going to be a lot of work, but I really do want to get to that. And I'm sorry, I promised that I'd get it out work on it right away. I haven't even started it. But then also I want to work on, I want to make more Big Brother videos, because Big Brother's coming up within months. And Big Brother is my favorite show of all time. So if you could think I can talk, for almost a half hour about Masked Singer, I could probably talk for hours and hours about Big Brother. But yeah, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you later.